On OSRC News at 7, public servants commend Ondo State Government's transportation initiative to cushion effects of fuel subsidy removal. Ondo Assembly promises fairness in passage of Local Council Development Area Bill. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai recommends replacement to serve as minister. And from the foreign scene, 6 Colombian suspects fingered in assassination of Ecuadorian presidential candidate. Good evening and welcome to the news. My name is Remy Allen. The palliative measures initiated by Ondo State Government through transportation for public servants continues to receive applause for cushioning the burden occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy. Some of the beneficiaries said the movement to and from their various offices has reduced the expenses on transportation fare. OSRC's Zaid Aribisala reports that Special Advisor to the Governor on Transport, Toby Ogunleye, assured that the government will further take more measures to strengthen the process.
From as early as 6, drivers of no fewer than 60 buses of different sizes, drawn from various ministries, departments and agencies of government, set out for the day's task of conveying public servants living in the state capital and its environs. Since the removal of fuel subsidy, many Nigerians have been feeling the brunt as inflation increases on goods and service, while also affecting the cost of transportation in inter and intrastate. Some of the beneficiaries described the measures taken by the state government to alleviate the hardship as commendable.
It's a welcome development. To a certain extent, it will cushion the effects of the subsidy removal. But then, those living in the crannies of the town, it won't be able to reach them. So I want to appeal that the government should do something in earnest to assist those that are living in the crannies of the society.
In program tó fine kejì ni Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ máa tìjọba Ondo State lẹ́yìn láti máa tẹ̀síwájú.
The Special Advisor to the Governor on Transport, Mr. Toby Ogunleye, wants more public servants to seize the opportunity as government will continue to fashion modalities to cushion the effect on the formal and informal sector.
We are not limiting it to civil servants alone or public servants. We are trying and striving to touch every strata of human endeavor. We are not God. The word palliative is to cushion, not total removal. So we want to do our own bit, at least to reduce the pains that have been occasioned with the removal of the fuel subsidy.
Mr. Ogunleye hinted that the government will procure more buses to ensure the scheme continues to run. He also noted that the shuttle initiative for students will commence as soon as schools resume.
For people to even hear that the buses are coming back, I think it will going to erase the erroneous impression and the evil and satanic politics that people are playing with. So the buses have been taken to Imo, taken to Anambra, some Christians, born again, some Muslims, the Tablighs, you will see them even swearing that they saw this thing, they saw it in Anambra. So have we gone to Anambra to go and retrieve them? So the buses are coming. So the engines are in order. But because they've been there since COVID-19 lockdown, that was what actually stopped it. And with the supervening issues. But there is need for us to roll them out. We are doing the major rehabilitation. The clutch, the brake, we are changing the tires. Changing those because tire is so key to vehicle. And lives revolves around the sanctity of tire. So we all hands are on deck. We are doing it.
The Ondo State government had announced comprehensive palliative measures to cushion the effect of removal of the petrol subsidy on residents of the state. And among the steps are that pensioners in the state, including local government or state government retirees, would get 10,000 naira each from August to December. The state government will also distribute food packages to 1 million households across the state and make farm inputs available to farmers at subsidized rates. Sahira Ribisala, Osrc News.
Lagos State Police Command has rescued 9 children aged between 9 and 14 who were about to be forced into a court group initiation. Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Udeyi confirmed the rescue and highlighted the disturbing details surrounding the children's ordeal. According to Udeyi, the children, whose identities have been withheld for their safety, were discovered during and after the initiation process. He added that incisions were found below the children's lower lips, which indicated their compelled participation in the court activities. Udeyi confirmed that an investigation is ongoing into the matter. The Nigerian Army has assured the National Population Commission (NPC) that it would deploy troops during the 2023 census. This, it said, was to enable the Commission to conduct the forthcoming 2023 census successfully. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Torid Lagbaja, made the pledge when the Chairman of the National Population Commission, Nasir Kwara, led the Board of Commissioners and Directors of NPC on a courtesy visit to the Army headquarters in Abuja, expressing the readiness of Nigerian Army to support the Commission in its efforts to conduct the 2023 census. The Chief of Army Staff gave assurance that the Nigerian Army will provide requisite support to the Commission through the deployment of troops and adequate security to ensure the successful conduct of the exercise. Lagbaja also promised the Commission staff access to barracks across the country during the national program. The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Mr. Philip Shuaibu, has debunked the claim that he is planning to leave the People's Democratic Party to join All Progressives Congress. His Chief Press Secretary, Musa Egbomiana, described the claim as the handiwork of mischief makers who are bent on widening the rift between the Deputy Governor and his principal, Governor Godwin Obaseki. There has been tension between Shuaib and Obaseki over Shuaib's alleged ambition to succeed Obaseki as governor. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has made an order restraining Obaseki from initiating any alleged impeachment process against Shuaibu. Justice Hakme Mohammed ordered parties in the suit to maintain status quo ante bellum. Justice Mohammed, in a ruling, restrained security agencies from arresting, detaining, or harassing Shuaibu pending the determination of his suit. The judge, while adjourning the matter till August 22, directed the defendants to show cause why the prayers being sought by Shuaibu in his suit should not be granted. The Apex Igbo socio-political organization Ohanaeze Ndigbo has decried President Bola Tinubu's nomination of only 5 ministers from the Southeast, describing it as unfair and unjust. The group expressed their displeasure in a statement by its President General Emmanuel Nwanyanwu. Ohanaeze recalled that the states and geopolitical zones were created by the military administrations, saying Igbos did not play much part in the process. It noted that the Southeast is shortchanged by the fact that it has only 5 states, while other geopolitical zones have a minimum of 6. President Tinubu nominated 48 candidates for ministerial positions who have all been screened by the Senate. In the meantime, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has recommended a replacement to serve as minister in the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. El-Rufai is a staunch supporter of Tinubu's presidential ambition before the election, and two other ministerial nominees, Stella Okotete from Delta State and Sani Danladi from Taraba State, were not confirmed by the Senate on Monday due to security clearance. The former Kaduna State governor has, however, assured Tinubu that he will continue to contribute his quota to national development as a private citizen. According to reports, El-Rufai has recommended Jafaru Sani, who served as commissioner in 3 ministries: local government, education, and environment in Kaduna State, and his replacement to President Tinubu. The embattled ex-governor said he needed time to focus on his doctorate program at a university in the Netherlands and assured the president that he would find Sani very useful and resourceful in the government. You're watching OSRC News at 7. We will now take a short break. Please stay with us.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide tonight.
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Thanks for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. The Imo State government has banned all forms of unauthorized levy and tax force collection across the state, including the Truck and Haulage Task Force. Governor Hope Uzodinma gave the instructions due to reports of harassment that the members of the public suffer from individual groups and even political appointees that engage in tax force collections. He said all persons or groups involved in the reckless collection of levies in the state without the strict authorization of the governor have been asked to desist forthwith or have themselves to blame. Governor Uzodinma added that the consequences that await the refusal of those involved in such acts are huge, as his government is no longer prepared to tolerate acts that smear her image. He affirmed that the only agency in the state saddled with the responsibilities of collecting levies, penalties, and other revenues for the government remains Imo State Internal Revenue Service. The Enugu State Police Command has killed 3 suspected hoodlums in a raid carried out by its officers on an indigenous people of Biafra IPOB camp. Police spokesperson in Enugu, Daniel Ndukwe, said the force also recovered weapons during the raid in Igweze North local government area of the state. 3 of the hoodlums were neutralized in the ensuing gunfight, while many others escaped with varying degrees of severe gunshot wounds. Ndukwe said more pump-action guns, 1 locally fabricated revolver guns, 67 live cartridges, among other objects suspected to be incriminating items, were recovered during the raid. He added that preliminary investigations revealed that the criminal elements were responsible for the shooting and killing of 2 neighborhood watch group security personnel last month. In the meantime, following the attack on some communities in Barkin-Ladi, Plateau State Police Commissioner CP Bartolomeu Onyeka has warned that security operatives will not tolerate any form of criminal activities within the state and that perpetrators will be dealt with. In a statement, the commissioner assured that modalities are in place to ensure the arrest and onward prosecution of the perpetrators of the inhuman acts. He called on the people of Plateau State to remain calm and go about their lawful businesses as they are committed to ensuring the security of lives and properties within the state. The Nigerian Army High Command says a recent corruption allegation against it seeks to deepen the morale of patriotic troops, endanger disaffection, and put government and the nation in panic mode. According to its spokesman, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, the Nigerian Army is compelled to respond to insinuations in an online publication attributing the resignation of 25 soldiers to allegations of corruption. Nwachukwu said the Nigerian Army is not a conscript army and that recruitment is voluntary with extant policies on discharge and retirement of soldiers and officers as obtained in other organizations. He reiterated that the Nigerian Army, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, remains committed to upholding the highest standards of integrity, probity, and professionalism by providing exemplary and pragmatic leadership, sound administration that will continue to boldly guarantee the welfare and motivation of its personnel, as well as provide requisite enablers for operational effectiveness while maintaining public trust. The Army spokesman enjoined the general public to discountenance the manipulative insinuation peddled in the said publication as it is glaringly unsubstantiated. National Emergency Management Agency NEMA has set in motion mechanism for emergency preparedness, mitigation, and response activities across the country. At an Energy Coordination Forum meeting in Abuja, NEMA Director General Mustafa Ahmed disclosed that under any emergency coordination forum, the agency is taking various steps to prepare for and mitigate possible flood disaster this year at various levels in partnership with critical stakeholders. Ahmed revealed that the country has already started experiencing flood in some parts, which called for concerted effort to address the disaster. He listed Ondo as one of the high flood risk states, as predicted. The United Nations has launched the Northeast Resource Center for Women in Politics in Borno State. The center, located in Maiduguri, will promote political engagement, advancement, and mentorship for aspiring women politicians in the region. The Canadian government supported the establishment of women resource centers in Calabar, Cross River State, and Maiduguri. Flagging off the center, the Director General, Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development, Dr. Asabe Asabe, disclosed that the Women's Zonal Resource Center should also serve as a hub that provides opportunities for female politicians to access information and knowledge-related products. Asabi lamented poor representation of women in Nigerian politics, which is on the downward slide since 2021. The Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) has beckoned on Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS) to keep exploring dialogue in resolving the Niger Republic crisis. CAN President Daniel Oko also warned ECOWAS against opting for military intervention in Niger Republic, while commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's diplomatic approach so far. Chairperson of ECOWAS, Bola Tinubu, has said the regional bloc will continue to champion diplomacy and dialogue, as well as earnest discussions with all parties involved to restore constitutional governance in the Republic of Niger. The CAN president appealed to all stakeholders to embrace peaceful negotiations, exercise restraint, and tirelessly work towards a sustainable resolution of the crisis in Niger. 6 people arrested in connection with the assassination of a popular presidential candidate in Ecuador, as well as one attacker who was shot dead, are all Colombians. Ecuador's Interior Minister, Juan Zapata, gave the indication, stressing that the suspects in the killing of Fernando Villavicencio were all foreigners. The former journalist was shot and killed by a gunman in the country's capital of Quito. Akintunde Akinshemola has more.
An Ecuadorian presidential candidate was assassinated in the capital, Quito. Outraged protesters rallied outside the clinic where Fernando Villavicencio died after he was shot at a campaign event hours earlier. His killing comes just 10 days before Ecuador is due to head to the polls. Several other marches kicked off in other cities, including Villavicencio's hometown of Alausi. Villavicencio's sister, Patricia, who said she was behind her brother when the shooting happened, described hearing about 100 shots like lights. Local media reporters said about 30 shots had been fired. The Attorney General's office, meanwhile, said a suspect in the crime later died of injuries sustained in the shootout. He also said 6 people had been arrested in connection with the crime. The violence injured 9 others, including the candidate for the legislature and 2 police officers.
Este es un crimen político.
President Guillermo Lasso called the shooting a coup and a political crime which has a character of terrorism. He declared a national state of emergency and that the military would mobilize to guarantee security. According to him, the country will observe 3 days of mourning, but the election will go ahead as planned. Lasso has blamed rising tension on the streets and in prison on drug cartels and organized crime. Villavicencio, a former lawmaker and journalist, was also a staunch critic of corruption and organized crime. His party had discussion about whether to suspend campaigning due to what is called political violence, but Villavicencio opposed the move, saying it will be an act of cowardice.
Exigimos acciones.
His party had discussion about whether to suspend campaigning due to what is called political violence, but Villavicencio opposed the move, saying it would be an act of cowardice. All the presidential hopeful reacted to the murder. Some suspended the electoral campaign and denounced the violence. Akintunde Akinshemola for Osrc News.
And moving to sports, Sweden have booked a semi-final meeting with Spain at the Women's World Cup after defeating Japan 2-1 in Auckland, New Zealand. Amanda Ilesdes lashed in from close range in the 32nd minute to give Sweden the lead, and Filippa Angelda doubled it with a penalty in the 51st minute before Onoka Ayashi scored late on for Japan. Earlier, teenage winger Salma Parapuelo came off the bench to score a 11-minute winner as Spain beat Holland to reach the semi-finals for the first time. Mariona Caldente had appeared to give Spain the win in normal time when she slammed home an 80-minute penalty via the post after Stephanie van der Graat handled in the box. Van der Graat went from villain to hero by smashing home a stoppage time equalizer, but Paraluero found space in the area in extra time to put Spain's women into their first major semi-final for 26 years. And with our sports story, we've come to the end of Osrc News at 7. But before we go, here again are the top stories. Public servants in Ondo State have commended the state government's transportation initiative to cushion effects of fuel subsidy removal by President Bola Tinubu. We also told you that the Ondo State House of Assembly has promised fairness, equity, and justice in the passage of the State Local Council Development Area Bill. Also in the news, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has recommended Jafaru Sani, a former commissioner in his cabinet, as ministerial replacement to serve under President Tinubu. And from the foreign scene, 6 Colombians have been arrested in connection with the assassination of an Ecuadorian presidential candidate, Fernando Villavicencio. And that's the news. Many thanks for watching today.